Welcome everybody, my name is Richard, and in this episode I'm going to leave the shores of England behind, and myself and my family are taking our Tesla Model 3 Performance to Ireland. Now there's going to be 8 days of driving around Ireland, which is known for not having that many electric car chargers. So what's it going to be like? We're about to find out. This isn't something we booked weeks in advance. We started planning this a couple of days ago. Limited availability. When I travel, I normally book hotels that have car chargers at the hotel. But that's not been possible this time. We're traveling with a dog, there's 3 of us, so hotel availability has been limited. We're going to be staying in 5 different hotels over the course of 8 nights, traveling around the south coast, the west coast, and then across to Dublin and back down to Rosslare, which is where we're about to arrive at on our 8-day trip around Ireland. So let's take you along, as always, in our family holidays. Sorry, my wife. And we'll show you what the Tesla Model 3 Performance is like for efficiency, how charging experience is going to be, and what the whole trip's going to be like doing with an electric car in Ireland. What's happened so far? We left home this morning at 7 a.m. with 100% battery. We drove round up the A34 to Newbury type direction, along the M4, all the way across the south of Wales, all on one charge, arriving at Carmarthen with 20% battery. Warm day, air conditioning running all day. In fact, there was some heavy rain on the journey up earlier as well, so that never helps with efficiency. There's a car park there right basically in the town centre with Tesla superchargers, plugged it in, went into town, came back again. We were well under an hour. You do have to pay for parking, don't forget that. But it took the car back up to sort of 93%, 95%, something like that. And at the time we were gone, not for long. Then drove back another hour down to Pembroke Docks, sat in the car there in the hot with the aircon running, then got on the ferry where we left the aircon running and dog mode on whilst the dog had to stay in the car, and we go up on the ferry for 4 hours. So he was actually in the car for about 4.5 hours, dog mode on. He was fine. The car deck was hot, 26 degrees, the inside of the car kept at 21. And then we've driven an hour from Rosslare across to Waterford. That's where we are now, just for a very functional travel stop for today, nothing special. And we've still got 54% battery remaining, so range so far no issue. And as I look at the moment, tomorrow's plans to head down towards Cork, and if I go to the Cork superchargers, I can get there even now with 25% spare battery. So it looks like very easy in a Tesla Model 3 to kind of do your charge at Carmarthen, get a ferry from either Holyhead or Pembroke, and then come across. You can get to Cork quite happily and easily. That should be the plan. That's what we'll see what's happen tomorrow. So quick roundup for today. Tomorrow's when we really get into it, because then we get to see some really beautiful places. But as we come across, even from Rosslare to Waterford this evening, beautiful sun coming down, just starting to set now. Beautiful smooth roads. No, hardly any traffic. I mean, my first impressions of the Republic of Ireland, very good so far. But now I've got to find something to eat. I'm getting a bit hungry. Have that, then we're going to get on with a holiday tomorrow. So I'll catch you then. It's still day one, and we actually came down into Waterford town centre to find something to eat, and a very pretty place it is as well. There's the water's edge, just the whole front all lit up nicely. Just noticed there's these 4 chargers here, which are easy-go ones. It looks like it doesn't just do like credit card pay. I just tried it. I don't need to charge, so I just thought I'd test it out, so it might be useful for somebody. So it does look like you need the easy-go app or card. I just plugged it in and tried my credit card and it wouldn't do it. It seems like you need to have the app would probably get it working. So if I needed it, it looks like they're probably working chargers. They're 50 kilowatts, but it'd actually be pretty good if you go off and get something to eat. Anyway, that's it for me for now. I don't need it, so I'm going to move on. The weather's really changed. It's kind of wet and windy. The sun's just come out a little bit now. I leave here today with 47% battery now. Got to bear in mind I've used a few percent because I had Sentry mode on in the car park here last night. The dog's been in the car like, well, so we've just gone in for breakfast at the Shake and something over there. So we've been using a bit, 47%. That should be fine for us travelling along the south coast towards Cork. Well, here we are now charging for the first time in Ireland, and this is in Cork. These are the superchargers in a sort of shopping centre area. So there's 4 bays here, and what's frustrating, we pulled up, we did have to wait for a few minutes. There's another car there waiting now. I was speaking to another chap who said the wait here is unusual. It's the first time he's ever had to wait, and he uses it quite often. But there's only 4 bays right next to a big shopping centre, and just now I know that there was a car here, L4, that appeared to be charging, but the other 3 cars have been there for ages apparently. So people have just come here, gone off shopping and left their cars. So it's frustrating if people aren't just being kind of courteous and polite. So if you've got a Tesla and you're here, plug in a charger, any electric car, just be a little bit aware. If you're done, just move it. Well, I didn't charge for long at the Tesla Supercharger because I found out our hotel called the Kingsley here actually has some EV chargers, so I'll go and suss them out. Someone said it's got Tesla destination chargers as well. One of the chaps at the Supercharger I was talking to, but these look like they're charge point ones. I don't know if they're free or not. I'll have a look, find out, let you know. Okay, let's pick up the story. So now it's Sunday, we skipped a day. Saturday we just left the car in the underground car park here at the Kingsley Hotel in Cork, and we just enjoyed a day in town walking around. Lovely that it was as well. So now it's Sunday morning. I'm just going to top up the charge level whilst we kind of get up and have breakfast and pack our bags and stuff like that before we head off, because today we're going to sort of tour around the southwest corner before a stopover in Killarney tonight. So I'll just bring it up to 100%. They've got these charge point chargers here, no Tesla destination charge anymore, and they're quite expensive. So these are AC, they can do 22 kilowatts. Tesla can only take 11, but it will charge fairly quickly, but they're quite expensive. They're 56 cents each, I think, per kilowatt hour, so about the same as a fast charger. However, for the sake of, it's probably going to cost me, I remember I did charge it to 60 or 66%, I think it was at Tesla. I'm glad I did now actually, because that's free to me. Nonetheless, this will probably cost like 12, 13 pounds to kind of top it up, maybe 14. But it means we can just travel on the road with plenty of charge. So that's the plan. Just walk the dog, just get him out of the car. Where's he gone? And then we'll head off. Oh, he's making a nest in the back already. There he is. Come on, Daniel, let's go. Let's go. So it's come towards the end of Sunday and we've arrived in Killarney and we're staying right in the town centre. So we're just in the car park just up the road, which has got no charges or anything by the look of it, but that's okay. So 100% we left this morning, or 99%. We've got 38% battery still, and we've driven 250 kilometres, doing most of the ring of Kerry. Then the mist came in, couldn't see much, so we took a sort of cut through across the mountains as well. Seeing some great, fantastic scenery. The weather's been, I'd say, a bit of everything. A beautiful little beach we went to as well. We found the one problem we did realise is that this is their bank holiday weekend, which isn't in the UK. We didn't know about, and that's why it's so busy. So a lot of the Ring of Kerry was just full of other tourists. I mean, we're one of them, but other tourists and coaches. So it was pretty busy, but I can see why. It's beautiful scenery, beautiful places. So it's been a good day, but now for testing out an evening in Killarney. Looking forward to it. So now in Tralee, County Kerry, we left this morning and drove up and then came over the Connor Pass. So we've seen some really great scenery again, amazing as you've probably seen in some of those clips. The Tesla Supercharger here in Tralee is only 2, and it said in the car they're busy, there's a 25-minute wait time, but I thought I'll come here anyway, just so I can say I've been to these Superchargers, I've been to most of them now, and it's really quiet, there's nobody here. And then I was just speaking to this lovely chap here who watches our channel, and he's new to owning a Nissan Ariya, and he's going to have a go at charging that, so I'll help him with that in a minute. So not particularly fast chargers these, but there's a nice kind of hotel complex there that we've just made use of the facilities, grabbed a coffee, and so we'll be heading off from here shortly. And tonight's stay is up nearer to Galway, so we're just working out whether we want to go via Limerick or which route we're going to do. So I'm going to do that now. But some beautiful scenery this morning. Really recommend that Connor Pass. Good morning, it's now Tuesday and these are the charges just outside of Galway. So last night we stayed just south of Galway and today I think we're going to go into Galway itself and then explore some of the area to the west and north as well, maybe up into County Mayo if we have time. So we're just topping up the charge here. Unfortunately where we stayed last night again just doesn't have charge in there. It's just a self-service apartment which we're staying at tonight as well. So a quick top up whilst we're going to look at the route map in the car. Again, one thing a Tesla's really great for is the mapping in the car is really good for kind of exploring and looking at places of interest. You can click on it, find more information, navigate there, make a route. You can make several stops along a route and see what your charge is going to be at the end of all that. So the Tesla really is good for all that. So yes, we're just going to make a plan now. Don't know exactly what it's going to be yet, but we'll get in the car and have a look. Just quite interesting here, Tesla have got a couple of self-service test drive cars. There's a Model 3 there, there's a Model Y there, got a Model X from Switzerland and a Model 3 from Germany there. But there's a few chargers here. Was there 1, 2, there's 8 and the 250 kilowatts. So if you're anywhere near the Galway area, this seems to be a pretty good stop. There's a nice big hotel there by the look of it. And I might go and grab a nice fresh coffee there as well. So good little facilities, but we'll only be here for sort of 20 minutes, maybe half an hour to bring it up and see how far we're going to go. So after driving 286 kilometres around the beautiful scenery northwest of Galway, around the mountains, the coastal roads, there's lovely beautiful bays and beaches. We then came through Galway itself, but couldn't really find anywhere to sort of easily park to have some dinner. So we actually came back here to top up because remember we don't have any charge in any of our accommodation. Because the hotel here at the Galway Chargers, we just had some really nice bar food in there, really great stuff there. So whilst we've had that, the car's been plugged in of course, and it's now completely brimmed up to the full, so I've got to unplug it and go. And then tomorrow, a little bit more touring before we head on to Dublin in the afternoon and evening. So, we'll see you then. It's now Wednesday afternoon and we're at the Chargers just to the west of Dublin. So this morning we used that last night's charge where it was fully brimmed actually from when we had dinner. We travelled across, saw Father Ted's house, went across to the Cliffs of Moher, up that wild Atlantic coastline again. Some beautiful scenery, as you've hopefully seen in some of the clips. And then we hit the motorway for the last couple of hours, heading directly east across the middle of the country. And what a great bit of motorway as well, perfect for autopilot. So much different to a UK motorway, smooth, quiet, easy to cruise along, lovely, 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 all good. So, but yeah, actually quite a long way, so a couple of hours, done like 350 odd kilometres. So time for a top-up charge here. We all need the toilet. The girls have gone inside, and then I'm going to follow on in a minute. A dog stretches his legs over there. So lovely location here, nice smart hotel this one, but we're not staying here. However, we're off to stay pretty much close to the centre of Dublin. Hopefully, well, we'll spend this evening, tomorrow and tomorrow evening there before we travel back. So we're racking up the miles on the old Model 3 here, and it's not doing too bad at all. This, you know, as I say, that road's really good for autopilot, just sitting there cruising along nice and quietly. All good. It's been comfortable enough, spacious enough. The sat-nav's good for finding your way around. And of course the Tesla chargers make it super easy as well. And I get the Tesla charging for free, thanks to people that use my referral code to buy the new Tesla before. So I'll put it down below, although I think the referral scheme's not running quite the same at the moment. I think there are a few points to be had, but nonetheless, thanks to all those that did use it, because I can do things like get free supercharging and travel around. So very good. Right, that's it for me. Now I need the break. Okay, looking forward to now Friday. So yesterday was Thursday. We basically spent the day just walking around Dublin. We did pop out in the car to the Guinness brewery in the morning, see that, which was a good experience, and had the nice rooftop bar there, which is a good way to see the city. Then we spent the afternoon evening in town, so left the car underneath this car park under our hotel for the rest of the day. So that's Friday, and it's our last day, and we're going to be basically touring down. The ferry from Rosslare isn't until 8 o'clock this evening, or 8:45. So we've got the day to kind of tour down, make our way down to the south coast there, to the harbour. We've got 72% on the car now. We're going to tour the Wicklow Mountains a bit, which looks very pretty. But we've got to be aware we need some charge in the car for the dog mode on the ferry for 4 hours or so. And then, of course, when we get off the other side. But we'll see how we go, see what we end up with later in the day and if we need to charge before we get on the ferry. So it's now 6:30 on Friday, and we're not far from Rosslare now. We were going to go to Wexford for dinner, but there's a big Cayley festival on today, so it's basically shut. Now we've got enough charge, we've got 17%, which is actually enough for me to get to the ferry, go on the ferry, and go to the Tesla superchargers at Carmarthen on the other side. But remember, we want to use dog mode if possible when we're on the ferry, so I swung into this Circle K, and there is an ESB chargers. I've got the app already registered, so I plugged in the CCS, swiped on the app, and it worked straight away, no problem. Only 45 kilowatts is pulling, but all I want to do is just add a little bit, kind of get up to about 25, 30%, so that we can run dog mode whilst the dog's in the car on the ferry for 4 hours or so. And then I'll just top up from the superchargers on the other side, because remember, for me, Tesla superchargers are free. Not that this is too expensive. I think it was something like 44 cents a kilowatt hour or something like that. So not too bad, say 50 cents a kilowatt hour, I think. So it'll only cost a couple of quid to add a little bit in. So thanks to some delays of the ferry, it's even later than expected travelling back. It's now 3:30 in the morning, and we've come off and stopped off at Swansea Services, where there's Tesla superchargers there and all down there, and some other high power chargers there. So I think we'll start rounding up the video, and I'll give you sort of final mileage and efficiency stats probably tomorrow, if that's all right. Tesla was doing something a bit weird actually just now. It wasn't updating its location, so we've come off the ferry. Normally within a few meters it pings its new location and you can start navigating, but it didn't do that, so that was a bit odd. In fact, what I did was Plus we need to get the dog out of the car for the toilet, so we swung into an MFG just between sort of Pembroke and Carmarthen, just for literally about 3 minutes, just to top it up a little bit, just to make sure, because I couldn't have the distance to here or even to Carmarthen chargers and from the nav, which is odd. And then the car came up saying high energy usage, use your navigation. Well, I can't use navigation. I tried scroll wheel reset, that didn't. I've done that a couple of times, that didn't reset its location. So I'll do a power off in a minute and see if it works after this, but doesn't matter too much. Just a quick stop off here. Again, needed a toilet anyway, so just a sort of 20-minute stop or so, stretch legs, and then we did the final leg home, which is about another 3.5 hours, I think. 4 hours back down to the south coast, so it's going to be a very, very late night, but there we go, that's road tripping. Okay, so that's it, trip complete, back at work. So what do we have in the end? So we covered 1,562 miles in that 8 days. So we saw as much of Ireland as we possibly could. 443 kilowatt hours of energy used, and an average 284 watt hours per mile for the whole trip in this 2024 Model 3 performance. So a couple of things then. So how was charging in Ireland? Well, I didn't find a problem at all. There are some Tesla chargers which I primarily use because, as I've mentioned, I do have free Tesla charging because people used my referral code before. I was able to buy free supercharging credits. Plus, when I bought this 2024 car, the promotion at the time was to get some free supercharging miles. So I made the most of that. And that whole trip, so nearly 1,600 miles, cost me a total of about £15 in charging. All the Tesla charging was free, but I did a little top up at the hotel there in Cork and a tiny splash just before the ferry as well. So each one of them was sort of £4 or £5, so I call it £15 spent. Could have been nothing really in hindsight, but again, when you're traveling, in case you don't know, it's best just to keep it topped up a little bit. So for the sake of a few quid, a cheap trip really. I did work out some costs if you didn't have free supercharging, and that would have worked out to about £150 for that 1,600 miles. I've taken an average of about 39 pence per kilowatt hour for the public charging because it looks like the superchargers in Ireland are fairly similar prices in the UK. They will fluctuate different times of day, but you know, as I look here, the one here Galway is 42 cents per kilowatt hour, at peak times 47 cents. Tralee there, same 42, 47, Cork 41, 45. So let's call it about £150 if you're paying for all your charging there in the Tesla, using the Tesla network and charging as I did. If you're using other networks, it could potentially vary from that, of course. What I did find in Ireland is that the AC charging seems to be quite expensive, so actually quite similar to DC charging. So the AC charging at that hotel, for example, was quite expensive. Would expect it to be cheaper, or really a fairly premium hotel, free to be honest. That place used to have Tesla destination chargers. I think in Ireland there is a reasonable charging network. There's a lot of electric cars. There's quite a lot of taxis that are electric, but maybe at peak times in the summer, you know, you maybe need a few more. I didn't really see any issues. Like I say, I saw a lot of electric cars, but I think more destination chargers, more hotels with destination chargers would probably be a useful thing, because then you don't need to use the public high power chargers. You just top up with your hotel. That's really the ideal, and then you don't need expensive high powered chargers all over the place. But nonetheless, personally, I didn't find it an issue. The range and efficiency of this car was absolutely fine and adequate. As ever, the Tesla makes it really nice and easy with the navigation to not just plan charging, but just to drive around, explore new areas, find places of interest. The dog mode was especially essential on this trip, because what I didn't realise is that Ireland isn't particularly dog friendly. You can't take dogs in pubs. Normally go to a pub, restaurant, eat there, but in Ireland we found that barely any pubs, if any at all, take dogs. So he did have to stay in the car whilst we went and ate sometimes, as well as going to see in some visitor attractions as well, where you can't take a dog, quite rightly. So dog mode is well used, as well as on the ferry, of course, and that's where travelling with a dog in a Tesla is a great thing, having that mode. Really is invaluable. I don't know why more manufacturers don't have it, to be honest. We made good use of that. And the car, great. I found a lot of Irish roads are actually very smooth. The main roads are smooth. The small roads are actually then quite bumpy and sort of potted, and it tested the suspension, but this adaptive suspension, the Model 3 Performance, was pretty good, nice and comfortable. So the car, fine. Had that little glitch finding its new location when we came off the ferry back in Wales. It took about an hour to find its location. I was actually coming down towards Cardiff when it found its place, but anyway, got there in the end. Apart from that, that was a cracking little trip, so I hope you've enjoyed coming along with us on that, and we'll see you on another video very soon. Thanks for watching.